Hi there, hello, good evening, and welcome back to Immersive Realms. My name is Matt. I am your DM, aka Matt, aka Chef, aka Matt with Power. How are we all doing this fine evening? And welcome to The Shadows We Fear, our usual Friday night game, hosted by Mwah, casted by The. And you, our lovely viewers, are going to join us for the ride. But before we jump into tonight's episode, as always, we will go over to our good pal Andy. Any announcements?
We have an announcement that we are streaming on YouTube, so go over there and check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube as well, please, because we need more people on our YouTube. So yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Thanks. You can do your bit and hit that bell as well and get all the notifications of things that are coming through, because we might be doing more one shots, we might be doing more other things on YouTube as well. So go there. Also go to our linktree, which our community manager has put in chat for you. You can see all of our socials on there. You can see some TikTok videos that Matt with Power has done for us, and definitely see more coming out soon. Other than that, make sure you are on Twitch if you are over on YouTube for the moderated chat over here. Otherwise, I think that's really about it. I will hand it back to you. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you.
I don't really have anything small to throw at you, and I'm not throwing a D4 again. So good luck.
That's fine. We'll just deal with it. So. Let us, without further ado, since we are running a little bit behind tonight, let us just jump right into tonight's episode of The Shadows We Fear. Last we left off, our group had made their way back to the capital city, home of some Pavmar. You made your way to the Rising Shire Palace for a little night of rest and recuperation, which was rudely interrupted by needing to rescue Mary Silversong. This would go for like last 5 weeks or something our time, but it's still like in the episode of one evening. This has been going on for, it's mental. But your night was interrupted as Mary Silversong had gone missing / had fallen for bait from Beholder. You went, killed the Beholder, came back to the capital city now to properly rest. However, during some downtime, we found yourselves respectively alone or with friends or family. The city went dark as an arcane influence, a null field you found out was later called, snuffed out the city's lights and anything arcane. Those of arcane abilities, such as your good pal Emmerich, was actually led to suffer in agony due to this magical influx or lack thereof. You found out the Creed of Creation were once again behind this one. And after some rough talking, some really unagreeable people clashing heads, you were able to eventually, though, find the Creed of Creation stronghold, the Pavmar Sanctorium, where deep within you met another Warforged, similar to Patriot, but slightly more slender, called Teacher. More importantly, you met with Mary Silversong, the owner or leader of the Creed of Creation, Lavender's mother. Had, in a panic after the Beholder attack, activated a similar artifact to what you've seen before that the Creed of Creation took away, but made much larger. What was once a localized nullification area for the arcane and practitioners of it had now become a city-wide blackout of this device of its magnitude. You, with your combined efforts, were able to dismantle and disarm the device before it seemed to die, effectively giving up the ghost with an oversurge of some sort. And that was, for the most part, the matter put to bed-ish. A bigger rift, though, had been created between yourselves and the Creed of Creation, of mistrust sown ever deeper and unrecoverable at this point, it feels. Though as you left, not all of you did. Lavender and also Wash, you two stayed behind so Lavender could help her mum pick up the pieces, not just of the cube, but maybe of their relationship. And so let's begin with tonight's episode. We are not going to play the wee music, bear with me.
Giving away our pre-match rituals.
I know. Pretty much like we're in the fucking changing rooms. Do. The morning rise is slow and tense, as if it is first checking it is safe to re-emerge following the drama and events that had unfolded during its slumber. Some residents wake up without really having noticed what had transpired overnight, whereas others are quick to spread the word that soon the streets of Pavmar are rife with gossip and conspiracy. Those of you who wake up in the Rising Shire Palace catch similar tales, although most of which within these walls know what really transpired and are quickly dispelled. But there are two of you who missed these whispers and hushed lips, so many there are now ironically a shout. Wash and Lavender. Underground and hidden away, you two wake up in the Pavmar Grand Sanctorium. Gears that flow and interlock with one another like a moving river create a gentle and rhythmic thudding sound that bring your bodies to consciousness. So rhythmic and set in pace are they that as you wake up, you swear your hearts are synced to them and are beating in time with unseen machines. Your rooms are simple in design. Excuse me. There are no windows, no need being underground, but instead there are paintings hung so the metal walls that surround you don't look cold and bare. They have a comfy double bed where you wake up with sheets that were fresh before you climbed into them last night. And the floor has a large, simple rug in each room in the middle, covering up as much metal as possible on the ground. Excuse me. And besides a plain wooden wardrobe in the corner where you might have deposited a backpack or similar, this is all your rooms have to offer. They are warm, and they are dry, and even though they're sparse, comfortable. As you two wake up, the rest of you as well, as Raelion, Eleril, and Falcorus also waking up in your respective rooms within the Rising Shire Palace. But just for a moment or two, we'll stay in the Sanctorium. Wash and Lavender, you wake up, as we say. You don't know what time it is. There is no sun to ascertain how late in the day you may have slept, or if you've just woken up at a natural time. What would you like to do?
It's a good question, actually.
You spent the night, basically, in context, helping Mary clean up the pieces of the machine, as we sort of say in Lavender. During this night, Mary tried to get to know you a little bit more, and you can open up and stay as closed off as you wanted, of course, but if you ask questions about her, she will be happy to answer at any point. And it got to the point where last night you guys were just from exhaustion after dismantling the cube in the first place and just general tiredness being late at night when this all happened, found your way to your own bedrooms. But the morning is now yours, of course.
Probably, pack up, check that there's nothing else that needs to be done to help sort out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then make my way back to the palace very slowly.
Before you do that, as you sort of open your bedroom door and also get yourself ready and go around, Teacher is actually standing just down the corridor in a waiting position for you. Good morning.
Good morning, teacher. Can I help
May
you?
I ask how you slept?
Wasn't bad at all. Can I help you with something?
No. I'm here to make sure that you and Lavender are quite comfortable. And there is a breakfast prepared.
I wouldn't say no to a breakfast.
Fantastic.
Well, lead the way then, I suppose.
Follow me, please. Lavender also just takes maybe a little lion at this point, a little bit sleepy goose. As Wash, Teacher moves you through the Sanctorium, and again you hear behind the walls this perpetual clunk and bang. The music got very intense there, as if a battle's going to happen. I promise it's not.
Is Teacher squared up?
Teacher just turns around, fucking bring it. Teacher jumps, body literally horizontal at you.
He is the clothesline.
Yeah. Don't know why this music's so intense. Either way, we'll keep it going. Can't be bothered changing it just now. You enter into what is a large reception area, and you can see in the corner there are a couple of the Creed members. Although they're not wearing their robes of red, grey, or blue, but just downtime clothes, I guess you can call them, or under armor. But you do see Mary sitting in the back waiting, eating her own breakfast. It's a long and large room that you find yourselves in, and there are 4 rows of benches and pews that stretch a good 30 feet or so from one end to the other. Hanging above these benches are arcane lights to keep the place illuminated with a warm white light. This is very intense. I'm gonna have to change this one, unfortunately. And fade out. That's the... Nope. Fuck's sake. Oh my goodness gracious.
We could
Stop.
have a lot of dogs.
There's so many dogs. I just closed the fucking tab. Oh god.
This man has DM'd for more than 3 years of this campaign.
Keep yourselves entertained.
La 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 la.
That's not entertaining, Andy. I'm
Oh,
sorry to tell you
sorry.
this.
Greed have really good options for food nowadays.
Right. Oh goodness gracious, Gravy. This is what the curse of the thumbs up has done.
We're too busy. Just giving approval.
Tables are long. There's arcane lights above them, and he's in the background singing somewhere. To the right of this chamber, there is a serving area of sorts, a counter from wall to wall lined with various bowls and plates of food in a help-yourself buffet style. You can see there's hot and cold options, various meats, salads, vegetables, fruits, little decanters, sorry, of tea, coffee, cold water, wherever you might fancy this morning. The left-hand wall opposite has 2 more corridors not blocked off with doors that disappear off into the distance. And the opposite wall to the one that you've come from is a rather impressive symbol. You can see the wall is maybe about 40 feet by 40 feet and has one large bronze design shaped into it. The symbol, again, is made of what looks to be pure bronze along with the whole wall itself. The centerpiece is a large circular cog which overlaps 3 smaller ones, which would form a triangle shape, if you will. To the left of the large central cog wheel is a flame sitting on an open book. The metal of the flame almost seems to shimmer slightly with reds and yellows, or perhaps it's just a trick of the light or a trick of the mind. Above the central cog is a large tower shield flanked by crisscrossing swords, and to the right, a rising sun over a mountain range. Again, the sun, you could swear, glows. Below this is, in a flowing scroll of bronze, reads the following phrase in common. Learn from yesterday, defend and protect today, all for tomorrow.
Okay. That's quite cool, actually. Alright, I will grab some food. Also, I'm probably to specify, I haven't got my armor just yet. I'll
Yeah.
take it off, so... just
Ah, your
stand
AC is
there
low,
for the-
you fool!
Yeah, I know. Oh, shit! To bear fight my way out of this. Fuck's sake.
Mary takes off one of her gun legs and just shoots you.
Not my door!
Chat Mary herself is waiting for you.
I'll grab some food and just some water.
Mhm.
And I'll... Is Mary at a table by herself, or is there other people?
There's people at the
Around her.
table. There's no one immediately around her talking to her. She has sort of positioned herself to be slightly away from everybody else.
Okay. I'll take the cafeteria tray, I'm assuming,
Yep.
and just go up to Mary and just gesture at the seat. Is this seat taken, or my right
By all
time?
means.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Just very quietly sit down.
How are you this morning?
Decently well rested, I think. Humble sleep, yeah. Quite
I'm
nice.
glad. I just wanted to again say thank you for everything that you've done, both last night and before. It's been one heck of an evening, and I appreciate your help greatly. And again, looking after Lavender as well, and the rest of your group, but I've got priorities.
Yeah, that's fairly understandable. I mean, partially in the end we kind of had to shut it down and help, but personally, I don't have any qualms with doing that. So you're welcome. In the end, I suppose.
Thank you. I won't ask you to pick sides, because know that you're close to them, and I'm not going to try and sway you. I just want to say I'm thankful. And I do hope that you can, understand that there are just mistakes that I and we are learning from.
Well,
And you'll see a better
if
side
you
of
can
us.
learn, if you can learn from it, that's great. That's what matters in the end, I suppose. Just try not make the more important ones happen again, I suppose. Just keep us in the loop, I think.
I understand. When I'm ready and ready to face the day, I suppose, I'll be seeing Princess Elena later today to discuss more how we negotiate these waters going forward.
Good.
Because clearly what we agreed hasn't worked in no one's favor.
Aye, it kind of was a bit tits over arse.
It was.
Last night, really, I get the whole secrecy, but it was a bit much. Although
We
at the
fucked
very
up.
least, your subordinate was willing to negotiate to a level.
I will also, before I see Elena, be speaking to him, our dear friend Malachus.
I mean, given his
I
orders,
understand.
given
Exactly,
the
I'm just-
situation, I think he did an alright job, so I wouldn't go too hard on him. In
I'm
the
not
end,
going to
he's
go
just
too
as
hard.
smart on it.
He was following orders, but there was a gravitas that was not being recognized at his end, I think, with your stations and the situation itself. So I'll be taking account of his actions and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Well,
I'm not going to kill him before you say.
I figured you wouldn't. That personally, I don't think that would be a very good step towards mending things. Really,
No, we are past those days now of the murder and the unpleasantries behind it.
And as for recognizing people's station, like that, he spoke to me afterwards. Personally, I don't take offense if he doesn't remember that I'm, part of the Defenders of the Throne or any other unrelated things. I'm fairly newer in the capital. I understand that, so.
Don't worry, they will all be put to bed. Although that Clara girl who let you guys in, shame what happened to her. She doesn't say that. But please,
Game's the game.
eat up, and I'm gonna go get myself sorted. And maybe I'll catch Lavender later if she's around. But
You
it's
should.
midnight. I should. I will. But I'm gonna go get myself all sorted. Got a busy day ahead of me. I'm glad I caught you this morning, though. If you do need anything, teacher will of course be around to help.
Yeah, he's quite eager, isn't he?
He is very, very eager, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm
No,
also
no,
saying
not
that
really.
what we have taught him so far is clearly he's picked up and then some.
You've certainly taught him a lot.
To be honest, when we found him, we had no idea what he could be capable of. I won't lie, thought he was going to be a drone, for lack of a better term, but there's intelligence, there's emotion, and there's a passion, and there's a want behind that metal body. And damn, it shows.
Yeah, he can be a little overly keen, but I can tell it's from a decent place, I suppose. I've met many Warforged, if any, I can remember.
There's another one out there that I know of, Stow Lockwood, called Patriot.
I've heard of this Patriot. I've never met him myself.
We want to see, or he wants to see, teacher that is, if there's more of his kind out there. A lost people or something similar. I don't know if I believe it's quite as extensive as that. Personally, I think it's just more an invention from darker days, but I don't know. Maybe there's something behind it.
Yeah, certainly.
I'm gonna
an
help him all the
option.
same. Help him all the same. But I do need to depart, and I'll bid you good morning.
Good morning, Mary Silversong. And hope the wind is at your back.
Thank you. With that, she rises and walks out the room. Can I get you to make a perception check for me, please, good sir?
Sure. Find a
If only you were a Calanthier.
That is a. I think that's.
She farted as she left the room.
She crop dusted me. Fucking bastard. 10.
Makes you even hotter. Nothing catches your notice. When she leaves, you just tuck into your plate of breakfast, whatever it may be. I'm going to guess Calanthier, sorry. Wash is a very high protein breakfast sort of thing. A lot of meats and sausages.
No, he's vegetarian. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Damn.
Yeah, just sort of like fuel, essentially. Good food, but fuel.
Yeah. Up and atom sort of food. I would like to hear that.
If he doesn't finish anything, he'll pack it away for later.
Smart man, waste not, want not. And we'll jump over then to Lavender. You wake up probably a little bit later, probably a bit more tired. Not used to that much manual labor, let's be honest. Will you leave your room, or... Yep. As you leave, teacher comes out again to meet you. Miss Lavender, good morning.
Just gonna look around. Were you waiting there? How long were you waiting there?
I don't need sleep, so I was waiting here for approximately 8.5 hours.
That's a bit.
Weird to you, normal to me.
Should get a hobby.
I have many hobbies, thank you very much. I love jigsaws.
Really?
Quite.
You'll need to show me them some.
Lavender, it would be my pleasure to show you my jigsaws.
Sent dude jigs was paid with teacher all day.
Would you like some breakfast to start your day off the right way?
Sounds good.
Excellent. If you would please follow me. And teacher will then lead you to the same room that Wash is in. You see Wash in the back of the area, sort of munching away. There we go. He's away. Wash is away in the background, munching away. You can see the healthy spread of food before you, and whatever you want, you can top up with. And teacher will leave you, and Wash a bit of privacy, unless you need to ask teacher anything, in which you will come running. But it's just basically you, Wash, and a couple of unnamed NPCs in the room.
I'll make one plate for me.
Oh, we're struggling.
He's trying.
Ghost is dead. No,
No.
the prince falls.
My king!
Come back to me, man.
The shock of him hitting me last time has finally come back and just impacted it.
Stream, if we've got to see the spinning squares, so do you. Oh, he's back.
His
Hello, baby.
bone slowly started shattering from his hand all the
Accidentally.
way through his body from the
I accidentally nudged the camera USB and then disconnected me.
Fair enough. Sorry about that, guys. You good there, Ghost? Fantastic. So, Lavender, you were saying sorry.
I'll make one nice little plate for me, and then I'll make a nice big plate for Brown.
Yeah, Brownie's out here somehow, yeah.
I
Teleporting
thought he
there.
was.
He's here. He's here, we'll say he is. And yeah,
I mean, he doesn't have to be here, but I don't know who the
No,
fuck
he's here. he's here. We're not going to say no to the bear. We don't discriminate. But
We just like
you-
Pooh Beared him through the hole, you know, like we, like pushed him down.
I need just little Brownie's legs, like I'm sticking out of his ground. But yeah. So you make a massive plate of brownie, which is just, again, mainly consisting of meats, a couple of veggies, and you give them a balanced diet. But there we go, and you get your own healthy breakfast as well.
I just imagine
And you-
Lavender putting it on the floor and then like having to put the vegetables back on the plate.
Keeps
Those
nuzzling them
fall
off,
off.
sort of thing. But yeah, it is just you and Wash, and if you want, you can have a little conversation, take your leave, see your mother, whatever suits you.
You sleep well?
It's alright.
Yeah, it's pretty humble, you know. Not the palace or anything like that, but nothing wrong with a bit of humility, I suppose. I can't get used to the really comfy beds in the palace. It feels really weird. Just a crap cot. Do you manage to have a conversation with your mom?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He'll just keep tucking into his food.
Mm-hmm. A little bit later, after breakfast is had, teacher will come back, and if you guys are ready to leave, he'll show you where the ladder is again for the way out of the sanctorium.
Yeah.
And with that, you guys ascend the ladder and make your way back into the morning streets. A little bit later than maybe you thought. You're normally waking up, first light sort of thing. You guys emerge. Bear in mind you did have breakfast and obviously stop for that a little bit. At about 10 a.m. sort of time. And it'll take you 15-20 minutes or so to get back to the palace. It's not far at all from where you guys are located. And the three of you, Brownie's with you, begin to make your way back to the palace proper. And we'll then cut into the palace. As morning comes for the other three of you guys, Azraelion, Falcoris, and Elril, and you find yourselves in the posh palace walls once more, waking up to a comfy bed, comfier than what Lavender and Wash has slept on, though, royalty perks of. A breakfast display is put out in front of you. Emmerich is absent this breakfast, unless you guys all eat breakfast alone, but Emmerich is noticeably absent.
Falgoris probably was in the barracks for the night. He probably didn't sleep in quarters or anything of the sort. He probably fell asleep at the table, feet up, like he used to do after sparring session or whatever.
Very nice.
I think for Elro, he didn't come down to breakfast, but it's maybe just like taking a long lie, spend some time with Quinn.
Yeah, you dog. And Azraelion, what are you up to this morning?
I didn't go back to the palace. I stayed out with Adar and done a few little training methods.
Yeah. Little practicing and that sort of stuff, little drills with Adar.
Just
make me an animal handling check with advantage. I want to see how Adar's taking in these new instructions.
That's a 22.
22. She's getting there very, very quick. These new instructions you're giving her, these new exercises, these new commands. She initially, like any animal learning, doesn't understand it, but with patience, the kinship that you have with her, and that bond that's between you two, she's picking them up faster and quicker with what you'd like her to. And you're feeling confident that as she's growing older, becoming bigger, and becoming more, well, a dangerous animal. She's outgrowing her kitten self now. She is now adolescent. She should be a big cat and be able to hold her own, but she's getting there fast with your help. These extra things.
Yeah.
But keeping on you just now, Azraelion, as you do spend the night out with her, training, a little bit of playtime, obviously, keep her happy. You do make your way inside the palace eventually, be it in the morning or a little bit later. And as you're coming through, you can see that Arabella, the ever shy girl, comes up towards you. Good morning, Azraelion. How are you today?
Is this the woman from the barracks that I've been torturing and terrorizing for contracts?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Sorry if I'm disturbing you, but you've been asking for contracts, and something's come up that I think might be of your interest.
Do you have it on your person, or shall I come visit you at the barracks?
No, I promise to have it on me. She pats herself down a little bit, pulls out the wrong envelope, another wrong envelope before getting to the right one. And she hands it over to you. And I'm going to DM it to you first of all.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we'll pop it in chat after. I want it in italics, please, to be fancy.
I can see she's getting quite nervous, and I'll just be like, "Why are you nervous around me? I'm not an intimidating person.
It's not just you. I'm.
Is it because
very-
is it because I'm handsome?
No. Well, you are, but no, it's not because I'm nervous around everybody.
You don't need to be nervous around me. Would you like to pet my cat?
She sort of looks left and right, sort of thing, as if saying yes is a crime. Can I?
Of course.
She very
Motion.
slowly goes to one knee, and for the first time, you see like an air of confidence that surrounds Arabella. As her hand goes out without hesitation, you maybe thought she might hesitate or flinch away. She just goes in straight away, hand out, lets Adar sniff the back of her palm before letting Adar sort of go under her hand. Then she starts giving Adar ear squitches, and Adar very quickly, being Adar, rolls over, belly up sort of thing. And she has a good little play with him. Sorry, I've always liked animals more than people, I guess. So, you know, it's thank you.
And thank you for this contract.
Oh, of course, I hope it helps. And of course, if anything we can do for it, please, just let me know.
May I ask, has this seen anyone else's eyes, or has became my eyes only?
Apart from the guildmaster who wrote it, this hasn't even been published yet in guild halls. So you are the first person to potentially pick up the contract. And if you want, we can make it your eyes only and not mass produce it.
As I am a member of the Twilight Company, I will have to make my companions aware of this, but my eyes only for now, thank you.
Of course, I will immediately let the guildmaster know. And thank you. She gives Adar one last little clap on the back of the head, before turning back to you and gives you a very deep bow.
No, with a gesture back.
And she quickly scurries off into the background. And you have your contract. I'll let our man read it first. Unless you already read it.
No, I'm not ready yet. No.
Okay, I'll let you read it in your own time, as and when. We can then post it in the main chat for everything. But I would say eventually, after you get your contract, Falcoris, you wake up within the barracks. You stretch, you're sore, you're stiff from not sleeping in the bed, but there's that comfort in that stretch of that morning. Cracking your joints a little bit because you haven't slept in the bed, but sitting in a chair. Where other people find discomfort, you find familiarity of doing that many a time over, and it just feels good to have to force the body back upright again.
He cracks out a few press ups.
Of course you do. A few little chin ups in the morning.
Yep.
You make your way back, I would say, inside eventually, and of course, Elio, you probably do much the same. You have a lovely little, like that lazy Sunday in bed morning vibe with Quen. Before finally, you can see the sun's probably about mid-morning. Probably should, you know, make an appearance at some point, you know? One of those ones. And the three of you do eventually just end up convening, as a D&D party always will.
It's incredible how we always gravitate towards one another.
Well, I would like to do a slightly retcon there, because as I'm going up to the palace, I'll maybe walk by like a vendor that's selling like fruits and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'll go over, I'll get some bananas.
Bananas? Yep.
Bananas. I'll give the vendor 2 gold for them.
Okay.
Just hang with it, and I will take it off to our Shidokai friend.
You go and deliver him a bag of bananas.
Bananas. And then when I do, eventually, I don't have to full RP it, but I will take one out, I'll show him how to peel it, and they eat it, and then let him. He
will then give you a request of asking for a seed, so he can plant a banana tree, or however the fuck bananas grow. It's trees, isn't it? It is trees.
Yeah. I'll say
Bananas are all clones.
I hate that fact. Please don't ever tell me that again. We made lemons.
I'll try
Lemons
get him
are
so he
real.
can grow bananas.
Not a problem at all. if you want to go try and do that right now, you might take another hour or so to go find someone who can sell seeds and that sort of stuff. But you do, I will say, probably cost of maybe a silver. Find a what do you call it? A gaggle of banana seeds. I don't know what you call a group of seeds. So I'm gonna assume it's the geese version.
All right.
A gaggle of seeds.
Then I'll take it back to him and.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is exceptionally thankful. By the time that obviously he's asked for the seeds and then you've gone away and come back, maybe in about 45 minutes to an hour, as we sort of say there. But in that time when you've come back, you can see that he's already cleared out a little piece of his allotment for this. And as you're leaving, one of the guards is coming back. And you can sort of see, like, he's got a piece of paper in his hand that's been waterproofed. And you sort of just look down at the piece of paper, you can see, like the other things, it's instructions of how to care for banana plants. As he's going to add it to his folder.
Alright, and then I'll head back to the Worlds of Palace.
And then we gravitate together. And as Elril says, it's amazing how we always gravitate together.
Well,
again, you can see where Elena is there. Elena is there. Lily is with her. Emmerich is absent.
Has anyone seen Emmerich today?
Elena pipes up. No, I haven't seen him this morning. I think he hasn't come down from his quarters anyway, I don't think.
I mean, he has been seeing that Jack fellow. Do you think he's just
Do you know, that thought hadn't crossed my mind. I was more thinking perhaps he was lethargic after last night's, drain on his body. But he could be getting drained in other ways, I suppose.
Well, I was going to offer to go check on him, but I was kind of sussing out the situation that maybe he didn't want to be disturbed.
If there's a sock on the door, then don't enter.
I'll go see how he is if anyone wants to join.
If you want to.
of course, we'll go along.
Israel, will you tag along with the Gusto too, or?
Yep. Yeah, I'll go with him.
Perfect, not a problem. And I have seen your message, by the way. I just can't type and talk at the same time, so...
No, it's just fine, it's fine. Yeah, I'll probably go with, and then I can find out what's going to happen with my new duds, because I might have dinner plans.
You make your way up to Emmerich's quarters. You know it well. Pardon the pun. Not in that way. You do know where he sleeps. And there's no sock on the door, but the door is shut and it is locked.
Oh, give him a good old knock.
Mm-hmm. You give the door a knock and there's a pause before you hear a hello.
Celery, I just wanted. I've got Falcoris here as well. I just wanted to make sure. And Israelian came? Did Israelian come?
Yep.
Elril says he doesn't turn around to check.
Steps at door.
We just wanted to see how you were feeling after yesterday.
Quite done in, darling. My body aches. I look a state.
Can we,
Today's not fabulous for me.
Can we get you anything? Can we,
Tea.
Tea.
Lots of it.
Okay, we'll probably just go away and then, just the first, first person that works in the castle that's, if there's a maid or anything like that, I'll just ask her to, I'll say I'll give her 5 coins. I'll just say it as a bonus for today. If you just routinely drop off tea to that door.
She nods and will get the order sorted, and she will go deliver tea to Emmerich's quarters for you. Happy
And then,
as a bonus at the end of it for her.
Yeah. well, I guess he's okay. I mean, as far as breathing goes.
It's not like I'm gonna not get up and do his thing, but I guess it is what it is. I guess we'll see him in a bit.
Probably. Oh,
I
sorry.
was with him when the magic had left his body, and he was in a terrible state.
Well, when we fought the Creed before, and we had the smaller cube, it really did a number on him before. Can imagine this one's much worse.
Yeah, I mean, this was a bigger one, wasn't it? So I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be back to
I don't
his usual self, probably by nightfall.
know if maybe if it has a worse effect on him because his magic's tied to his blood.
Maybe. The only one that would
You
kind
guys
of
do remember? Oh, sorry.
the only one that would kind of know about that would be essentially Canthier, I guess.
You do remember that when you guys went to the Great Everby and had that fight, and he could stand in the room with the thing going off. It was only when he cast spells that he visibly was hurt. This thing just being on last night, he had him doubled over to the point that Azraelian had to carry him in, then guards carry him away again. You know, this really, really did number on Emmerich compared to last time. Just it being on without him casting a spell. You dread to think if Emmerich tried to cast something this time, what could happen. Yeah.
Well, there's not exactly much to do right now. It said, apart from trying to organise defences and on the lookouts. Gone by
Yes.
Bolden's word, we're about to be invaded.
Relatively soon. He's a little vague, really, as you know they usually all are. They love their grandstanding, sounding all fucking important.
Yeah,
So he was quite vague.
but got to work on the assumption that it could be the next 5 minutes, you know?
Well, yeah, that's probably safest bet to think of it like that.
I'm gonna go down. I'll talk to the barracks. I'll talk to the commander or MD that's in there. See what we're like. How they're getting the soldiers prepared, the lions prepared for defenses, attacking. I'll figure out what's going on there. It's up to you if you follow me or not. But if you need me, I'll be at the barracks.
I'm going to get
Um,
food.
Oh, sorry, you go. Sorry.
No, sorry, I'll just say that and I'll go.
Well, if the rest of us have any preparations that may be worth just making those, making sure the people around us know what to do when the time comes.
At some point, I would like to get to Brazenfort. So, I'm thinking maybe leaving tomorrow unless something else comes up. But, basically, if something comes up, come see me at the barracks. I'm going to spend a lot of time there, I think. Start getting people prepared, start getting things down, training folk. The more prepared we are, the better we'll be.
Okay.
Seems pretty fair.
And then Falcors will just kind of, sign off and head towards the barracks. Don't have to RP anything. Basically, he'll spend his time just talking to the commanders, seeing where everybody's at, what the defenses are, and any kind of improvements or anything he thinks that could help. He'll suggest and like start preparing and help prepare for.
You do exactly that, and now and again you'll see Captain Valdis will sort of come over and he'll just give you like a nod from across the courtyard sort of thing. He'll never actually come up to you, but he'll never ding you. He'll always acknowledge your presence. But bit by bit, can I get you to make a perception check for me, please? As you just sort of idly watch the groups around, and Valdis especially. You know, can I just get you to make a little perception
Yes,
check?
26.
26. During this, you can see that there's one of these lines that today it seems like more like a lot of the drills are focused around about, you know, just raw strength. So there's a lot of upper body, a lot of arm sort of workouts, and there's one cadet that's just getting left in the dark, so to speak. You can see they're more nimble, they're more wiry built sort of thing. You sort of picture Elleril's sort of, you know, skill set potentially. Valdis approaches this line recruit, this young aspirant, if you want to call him that. He just sort of taps him on the shoulder and brings him away to the side. The two disappear off, and about half hour later, only Valdis returns, and then goes back to yelling at the aspirants again, in that not yelly, angry sort of way, that drill sergeant sort of way.
Falcoris will take a little walk round about the area that they walked off to.
Yeah.
Does he see the recruit?
No.
That's interesting. I'll head back towards Valdis and outside of the circle or whatever they're doing. I'll just be like, Captain, can I speak with you for a second?
Of course.
Sorry for getting you to do that voice.
It's alright. I hate you inside, it's fine.
You're the one that threw me, just saying.
Scar really fucked me with this one, it's fine.
I'll just be like, noticed that recruit was struggling with strength. What?
Nothing.
What have you been said? Cursed.
Nothing, it's fine.
Anyways.
Is it what I said?
Is what you said, just the last bit. You got me.
Just be like, that recruit struggling with strength.
Yes.
What you tell him? What's the advice you decided to give him?
There may be other paths for him to serve the crown.
Actually, fun fact, I don't think Ellery was ever told the party about his...
No, he hasn't.
thing there.
This is a secret.
Just like, you chuck him off the lines.
He won't serve the lions, no.
Alright.
The golden armor's not for him.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it's not his place essentially for that. He'd be more nimble, he'd be better as a, I would hate to say it, but Mirage unit or something of the sort. But, just interesting. Alright. Any...
He sort of frowns at you, where it's like...
Yeah, I'll kind of look at...
Interesting, if he's not fit for my ranks, he's not fit for my ranks.
No, that's perfectly fine. Did you tell him to sign up with another regiment, another company?
What does it matter, Falcoris?
Just interested. We're coming at a time of war. Just want to know
We're
what...
coming to a time of war, and he's needed elsewhere, I feel. So I will focus my efforts on those I can train. And the gods decide where he will now end up.
Alright. Fair enough. Good talk as always, Valdis, and I'll like, well, sorry, I'll go with Captain Valdis, and then I'll turn and just go back, like, scratching his head, like... Then I'll go back to whatever work I was doing.
Yep. I would say, probably again, a bit of downtime day sort of thing. Afternoon comes, maybe about 2 o'clock-ish. Emmerich finally, to anyone that's in the palace, will make himself not known, but he is around. If you want to speak to him, he's out of bed. For Emmerich, he does look rough. So there's a couple more creases than what there should be. The hair isn't done quite as nice, but he still tried. Unless there's anything anybody else wants to do. Yeah.
At one point, Elro would like to find Wash.
Fantastic.
Could I have a moment of your time, Paladin?
Please don't call me Paladin, but okay, sure.
I think it's important. I'd like to apologize for striking you. It was vulgar and unbecoming.
I mean, to be fair, I said some fairly inflammatory things, so I think that's fine, really. I didn't take any offense to it.
I won't apologize for my words, though. I can't have you undermine me like that in front of our men. At the end of the day, I consider you a friend, Wash. But I'm still your prince.
That is fair. But in some cases, I think your men may respect you more for taking some criticism, but not that kind necessarily. In truth, you would be on the front lines of any war that you would do, I think. Or at the
Already
very
have
least, if
been.
you weren't really on the front lines, you would be behind the enemy lines. It was more the fact that I was trying to point out, essentially, that tensions were very high, and I think there was a very harsh view of the events that was going on during a time of war.
And that's fair. I don't think questioning my honor was, especially in that moment. If you'd indulge me, could you tell me your tenets, please? Of your oath.
My oath was never one that was formally notarized, I suppose you could say. It was a silent one at that. Simply one of vengeance for those who brought the harm to my friends when I was a child, and also a form of self-repentance in a way. Truthfully, after we had killed what was in the Ream, I genuinely believed my oath would be complete, and Odin would have been perfectly happy to stand aside at that point. You know of Bodin's teachings about war. It's not just to go to war, it's to be smart about it. But my oath, personally, is not one that I am necessarily proud of. It's one I follow, and one that Bodin has now pushed me to do heroic things for, but it wasn't born that way. My tenants shouldn't lead an example for anyone. If anything, they should be an example of what not to do as a paladin.
But you know of Bodin's teachings. Failure to stop an enemy holds you responsible for those.
Yes. So does the unjust prosecution of an innocent in the form of a thought enemy. It is a thin line, I'm afraid. It would be easier if it was in black and white, but in the end, there is always an enemy, and then there is always a victim in war. There will always be innocents, and sometimes it's as much as about raising a hammer to defend the innocent as it is lowering one to grant them mercy.
I agree. I just don't want to see the Creed's bloodshed tarnish your armor.
I'm afraid my oath would bind me to probably be the first one to Deal blood, if it came to those kinds of blows, I wouldn't have an option.
You weren't with us before. But there's a lot about the creed that is not shall we say, virtuous.
Yeah, I've heard the rumors, and I've heard what's been told to me, and obviously heard Silver Song's take, others, and I can certainly tell that before they were not an organization that served the best interests, and by the standards of the oath, they would most certainly be deserving of any vengeance. And obviously I didn't see what you all have seen, so I don't know the depths of what they went to or how grotesque or horrible they were. I can just hear it, but truthfully, if they have not changed, then that is my burden to bear. But for the meantime, while they are making a shit ton of mistakes, and they should be held accountable, they're certainly more cooperative, it seems. And they're helping, and they're trying their best, and mistakes can be learned from, and I've told Silversong herself that most certainly she needs to focus on not making the same very, very bad errors. Because the cube is one thing, there was an experiment, it went wrong, it was at a moment of fear, there's a level of weakness there that's understandable. The information that was surrounding it was the problem that doesn't need to happen again, and I agree with that. I just want to see that come to fruition. And not that you don't, or that any of us don't, but I would essentially play the foil to all of you, to you yourself and Falcorus for your hatred of the Creed. So to give a fair
I will say,
assessment of
sorry.
the situation.
I don't think they're past redemption. It's that I don't trust a single word they say. And they've given us no reason to do that.
I can see why that would be the case, yeah.
Bear in mind, well, Marie's wanting to take in a different direction. She was responsible for a lot of this stuff as well. Being with 6 was a vanity project. Destroyed half the city.
True. Yes.
There's always victims, and I'm concerned that the Creed are so laser focused on what they want to do, they don't consider who it affects. So that's where I come from.
I can understand that. Obviously, as I said, I wasn't there for your level of distrust, so it's probably different. Not that it's not justified, but at the very least, with these mistakes, I think Silversong does know the fact that they can't keep operating half in the shadows and half not. It seems that this specific event has caused her to reconsider this level of secrecy. I mean, she was saying to me this morning, she was speaking to the Queen today, specifically to renegotiate their deal and open up much more open lines of communication, which, well, doesn't mend all the wounds. It's certainly a step forwards in the right direction, to the point where maybe the Crown will be involved enough to minimize any damages.
Here's hoping. I'm just concerned that one day we're going to have an enemy at the gate, and then an enemy beneath our floors.
I'm afraid I
appreciate-
think that is the nature of courts, Prince. Honourable Prince. There will
You don't need
always
to do
be
that.
somebody in the back room.
You're a friend first, Wash. I appreciate your input. Just, I can't have the lion seeing me in that light.
I'm pretty convinced that the Lions don't think squat shit about me, so you're probably fine. They probably, if anything, they'll probably jump to your defense if I say something like that again. So I think it's fine.
I won't sell yourself short. They might not know what Bowden thinks of you, but you've done a lot to help the people here.
Well, either way, I don't think if I could insult you again, anybody would see any less of it. I wouldn't undermine your honor. What I said wasn't exactly what I wanted to say at the moment, but I said it either way. I apologize if you think it came off that way, but your men have a very deep respect for you and what you've done, and what you'd still do.
That means a lot. Well, instead of being sentimental, why don't we go find the others?
Probably a plan. Yep.
Sure enough, after you've emerged from whatever corridor, side room, whatever you have this conversation, you find your friends, compatriots, colleagues, probably all bar Falcoris, who's out in the barracks still at this point, but the rest of you are able to sit down, have a lunch with Emmerich, who introduces a friend to you all, a tiefling with more pale silver skin, very flamboyant, matches Emmerich's energy, but now and again you'll try and, like, you notice something's missing from your plate, and this tiefling's got a little smile across his lips. He introduced himself as Silverjack, and he stays by Emmerich's side the whole time.
Do I recognize them?
Do you what?
Do I recognize them?
Will you recognize him? I don't think you would.
Okay.
No, you wouldn't recognize him, no.
We don't work in the same circles.
That's a semi-lie. You wouldn't know his face, but the name Silverjack rings a bell. Where, unlike a lot of thieves and that sort of stuff who would gravitate towards a guild, he was just a menace to everyone and everyone. He would steal from guilds, steal from towns, steal from the poor, steal from anyone. This man has got some of the quickest fingers out there and serves no banner. Even Orion, I would say, like, if the name of Silverjack was ever floated, even Orion spoke of him with an air of distrust. That even he couldn't be like, nah, mate, not on my sewer. But Silverjack comes. He is friendly, very chatty, and we'll get to know you all bit by bit. Bit cheeky. I fucking love that gif, by the way. There.
What one? The
DiCaprio one, yeah.
Come join our Discord to see it.
Happy every time. So I think I smacked the camera with the curtain there. But yes. Eventually, unless there's anything else anybody else wants to do. Not a problem at all. The evening begins to draw in, and it's getting perhaps 4 or 5. And as you guys are just sort of sitting there again, probably Falcoris absent unless you want to be in at this point.
He'll be out
You
of
are
barracks.
still continuing up with your training and your honing your skills, let's say. You will all see in the throne room as you sit there, just waiting for the next day to come effectively as you have a trip ahead of you. One of the big throne room doors open, and a lion enters the room and makes an announcement towards Elena that Ms. Mary Silversong is here to see her. At which point the whole room tenses a little bit. Emmerich especially gets a little bit tense. Silverjack doesn't seem to understand the gravity, but seeing that Emmerich isn't happy, sort of stands a little bit closer to Emmerich. And Elena especially stiffens. Whatever expression was on her face that might have been happy, relaxed, anything with that positive connotation doesn't drop and fade like she had devastating news land on her lap, but a seriousness comes across her. Very well. Would all non-essentials please leave the room? At that point you can see a bunch of the nobles all stand and take their deep bows and leave. Until it's just basically one by one they all filter out, and it's just yourselves as the defenders of the throne -1. Emmerich, even Jack does take his leave. And the lions. There's a pause, just making sure that the room is clear and everyone's where they should be, before Elena gives the lion that entered the room a nod. He leaves, and then very quickly, within a matter of seconds, comes back with Mary Silversong standing next to him. He gives a deep, courteous bow before going to the side of the room, taking up a position. Mary enters the room proper and sort of stands in front of that U-shaped table with Elena's throne at the top. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, thank you for all seeing me tonight. I just wanted to say I cannot be more sorry for my actions last night. I have caused this throne, in my actions of the last 12 hours alone, distress. First, your defenders had to go rescue me from mistakes from many, many moons ago that I would expect no one to have to pick up the pieces for, and yet they still did, saving my life in the due process. And how I repaid them was by panicking, flustering, and activating a device I had kept in largely secret, which wiped out Pavmar's arcane means, which left us vulnerable for the eve. My actions were foolish, unacceptable, and I entirely am accountable for them. I understand that during this night there were interactions with my organization not painting us in a favorable light. Do not blame them, blame me, as they were acting under my guide and instruction. And I cannot be more sorry. And I seek today, with yourself, Elena, and anybody else who may want to aid in this process, I guess, to come to a new agreement. As was highlighted to myself by certain members, her eyes sort of shoot towards Wash and Lavender's direction, then over to Elleril's. What we have isn't working. If we are to act together, it needs to be together. We can't tell you everything all the time, but we can do a far better job of what we are doing. And she drops to one knee and bows her head in Elaine's direction. All I ask from yourself, Your Highness, members of the court, is the chance to try again. In your name, in Pavmar's name, in Lorenthal's name. And a silence just grips the room as she sits on one knee. Lily looks towards Elena. Elena looks down at Mary Silversong. Around to you all. Her eyes do fall on you a little bit, Elleril. You know, the comfort of having a brother around. Mary, you're alright. Yes, all the female NPCs sound the same, and I apologize. Elena says. What we have has proven last night does not work. We will, for a second, forget the fact that you created a crisis. In said crisis, we couldn't understand what was going on. And we were met with... I don't want to use the word hostilities, but blood was shed in this room last night. For one reason or another. Now, I don't agree with anything that happened last night. And I am far from impressed with you, Mary Silversong. However... we are coming up to a time of war, potentially. I need allies. I gave you a loose leash. I gave the Creed of Creation a chance. You didn't squander it, you didn't waste it, but my god, did you really, really hurt me. And that trust given to you. So you are right, something needs to change. And as angry as I am, I dare say that that will pass. Eventually. If proven that you can change as you say so. that your organization can change as you say so. For one last time, in the name of Pavma, I am willing to give you that chance. However, I will not take this council and decision alone. I will need to speak with others and see if that is a general consensus. Mary looks up. She gives a nod. I appreciate the talk of a second chance. I dare not say any more, not because I have nothing else to say, but I fear that more is less. Elena will then say, if you wouldn't please mind leaving us whilst I have a discussion with my nearest and dearest about what happens next with the Creed of Creation and you, I would appreciate it. You'll be summoned when we are ready. Mary says her thanks and is escorted out the room. Elena then turns to you all. What the fuck do I do? She says, all airs and grace of confidence just for a moment just drop in front of you all. She has hurt us. But I don't think it was deliberate. It was a mistake. Fucking big one. But what do we do?
I think I've said my piece. I don't think it's worth trying to sway you in one way or the other. I think at the end of the day, this is your call. Just want you to know that I'll support you regardless of what you decide.
Thank you.
If I may be able to speak freely.
Please, this is not a time for airs and graces.
While it is a big fuck up, it's one that was mended relatively quickly with minimal damage, which, as far as the Creed go, is quite impressive for what I've heard about certain things, such as the structural damage that Behemoth 6 caused on its first use. And given that their base of operations is still below Badmar, we can assume that may happen again, but we need some strict ground rules, I think, for them to follow. Information is a difficult thing, but there are also some others that somebody has mentioned to me, that have pointed out that I wasn't here to see, that would also be good to include. Obviously, they want some level of privacy. We need a contingency.
That's what I'm thinking, is where do we draw the line that's acceptable, where the Creed can get their privacy, as you say, versus the needs of the people and the need to know information. Who decides what's need to know and what's not? There's a part of me that basically wants to draw them out of the shadows. Be a formal ally, but fuck the secrecy as far as what are you making of those underground layers go. What research you do in the dark.
We've uncovered some of it. We know that the rumors of kidnappings were true. They were taking people to turn into these abominations that they plan to use for war. Now Marie is very clearly against this practice.
It does seem the necromantic aspect has been pushed out.
I think if they didn't have something worth hiding, they wouldn't hide it from us.
And then there are times where I think that, we knew that after we won the Great Everby conflict, she was very upfront about the cube, and after the vote was held to continue studying it, I was known that she was building a new one. But that's all I knew. I didn't know the scale of what she was up to. And I don't think that's for a lack of her conniving against us. Just there's not a set line drawn in the sand where we can say, this is where the need to know is. I also, as much as I said a little second ago about maybe having them in the light and in the public's eye, the advantage of having someone secret like this, someone who can create secret weapons and war, the defense capabilities, it could benefit us. Especially when we find ourselves with war at our gates. I dare say that the spies may know about us, Pavmar, the Mirage units that we've created, the new one, the Riptide Defenders, the Tsunami Armada, the Lions, our walls, our artillery. Do they know about the Creed? They know we have an airship. That's probably about it. Is that a useful tool to have? But how would we control it?
I mean, a known deterrent, as well as also a valuable tool in war.
True.
I suggest we let them keep a level of secrecy to certainly the general public and lower levels of the palace. The standard populace, really. And it does seem that Silversong wishes to actually bring the Creed more into the light. However, I understand that that may take time where secrecy is still required. I truly think that that is the plan eventually, to operate in the light while keeping some things in the dark. However, as a organization, we need to more prepare for contingencies which could happen during these emergencies. So I think a select number of individuals should have all access, or at least can request and gather all access at any point during an emergency without question to aid both parties, and remain that to a select few, being yourself, your trusted advisors, the defenders of the throne, Emmerich, and anyone else that is specifically trusted to know things that are critical to this nation. We still give them the level of control and the secrecy they wish in standard operations, in the day-to-day, so that their integrity isn't being pushed upon. However, we remove this hurdle for us being required to have this information, whether it be prudent to an attack or not. If they wish to eventually increase this to anyone in the palace, so be it. But at the moment, we singularly, the defenders of the throne, were the people who needed to know that information to go down there and fix the cube from exploding. No one else needed to know, and I think if anyone else did need to know, we would be able to tell them in a vague enough way where only a rumor would be left behind. I certainly think that's something that the Creed would be able to agree with, and I think that even for the rest of you, if you would agree with that as well, it stops at the very least this level of fuck-up from happening again. I trust all of you. I think Mary does trust us, and she has learned that that issue with information and what led to it, whether it be the informant not giving us what we wanted, leading to Valkorus's actions, or the actions of us having to trick the guards at the front to get in, or pull rank, or pull power. Immediately as we got in there, she realized what her mistake was. And if we're going to turn this around and make it into something good for now, We need to find a way where we're respecting them and they're respecting us and allowing us to access that information when we need to, not as we like, when we need to or feel it is prudent. Then I think that's something we can agree to.
Elena, this whole time, has been nodding as you've been speaking, taking in your words and your viewpoint. She looks towards Lily initially, and Lily just goes, "I don't see why not." Thank you. She turns back to the rest of you. Do you agree with what Wash has propositioned?
I do agree with what my companion has said, but I do have one thing. If they are able to take a full city out of their magical powers, that could be used as a weapon for anyone incoming to the city. What is stopping them making a sort of bracelet, so to speak, for the people that live within the city that is excused from this power, that won't lose their magical prowess when it comes to battle?
A protection against the null field, that would be quite handy. That would be very actually good, especially for yourself, Emmerich, for example. No shit. We could work together in that sense, have some great ideas and create a new alliance in future, set some things and boundaries in stone, whilst also working together for, well, if you're making something, how about the Crown's input and thoughts on the matter? That's a good idea, Israelium.
Thank you.
As vast as the Creed is, I've been told, I'm sure that even the Crown has resources to offer, so that's a fantastic idea.
I think Wash is right,
oh.
to be honest.
One other thing, actually, that I didn't
Of course.
know about too much, that Elril, you mentioned. I think any plan or weapon or project that they're building that could that in use severely damages infrastructure or lives needs to be disclosed and organized with the Crown
Agreed.
as a flat rule. That is non-negotiable.
I think that's going to be a very clear boundary set in stone. That one is coming to head when you've been saying this, that anything, minor, I guess we can call it, fine. I'll hear once it's done, but anything major like this, like what happened last night, anything that's planned on getting created further, I need to know. And so do those nearest to me in this closed network. Of which responsibilities they will need to bear, swearing a secrecy themselves. I would ask that you, as all defenders of the throne, and Falcoris included, of course, would help, if we were to do this, by help keeping the Creed's secrets when we're in the know of them.
What's a few more secrets?
Very well then. If you all wouldn't mind leaving, I'm going to have a private one-on-one conversation with Mary and set some terms. I'm only doing this just the two of us to begin with, just to make sure that if there's anything that initially comes up, she wants to disclose in private first. Give her that chance and space before we start bringing things into the light. I thank you all for your input.
If you need me, just call. And he'll leave and kind of linger by the door, not eavesdropping, but
Yeah. You all,
enough just in case something goes
Yeah.
wrong.
you will take your leave as requested, sort of filtering out the door bit by bit. And again, you sort of, Elul, as you sort of say, stand just by the door, not in that eavesdropping sort of thing, but just where you are, comfortably close. You feel so if something does go wrong, you can rush in that room quick to your sister's aid. The only person out of the group that was originally there that stays is Lily, being Elena's personal bodyguard, of course. Lily will stay. And as you guys are leaving, you can see sort of Mary Silversong is sitting on like one of those like very nice wooden mahogany benches outside the throne room, just sort of waiting to be summoned. She sort of looks and notices you all sort of enter or exit, sorry, and then sort of gives you all that sort of to the group, not the individuals, but to the group, that just that nod without saying a word. Her face is a bit of a hard one to read. She's not showing much emotion. She's not showing sadness or guilt of what she's done. She's not showing that she's nervous of the conversation to happen ahead. She's doing a very poker face right now, trying not to let anything show. And with that, she sort of waits for you all to leave. She sort of sees you post up outside the door, for lack of a better term, and LOL, but takes no notice further than just acknowledging that you're there. The same line that brought her in once again collects her and ushers her into the main throne room, with the doors being shut behind, and the thick wood blocks out the sound of the conversation that happens. But as you guys are sort of standing there, that awkward, what do we do sort of thing, Falcoris, you're busy parrying, sparring, still. Your arms are getting to that point now that you can feel that red hot burn within you, especially in your thighs as well, the stances you're trying to pull off, and these just training. It's meant to be grueling and break those weaker, and you're as a seasoned veteran, even you still feel it to this day. These old regime drill instructions, like, fuck, I remember doing that. And you're feeling it yourself. And Valdis, if you ever care to join in, Valdis drives and runs a tight ship. And he is not afraid to assert that.
Again, I think before the end of the night, essentially, if of course would go to the sparring before everybody heads off to their obviously respective beds and whatever time, and like patrols or whatever. But like a lot of it would be in a war room per se, with a commander, maybe Valdis, maybe other people, whoever's like kind of thing. And I send you the message, but you'll be working on a maneuver, a whole defensive maneuver that's completely solidified and essentially allows a collapse where it feels it's like almost like as if they've managed to break through. If a force comes, managed to break through, but we surround that and kill them and then move on to the next. And I'm going to basically call that to the Zilrin maneuver. And Falcoris is working with everybody, like he's proper like, okay, we're doing this, and then he'll like have like the old kind of war sets essentially and moving them around. And then it'll just be, honestly, just keep on doing this kind of thing where he's drilling it in, and then he'll drill it with people outside. So you'll have like a group of people, and just this is your positions, this is what we do, this is the command, this is blah blah blah, and he'll be running through that, and then eventually he'll go into the sparring and just essentially keep doing that until he's tired, he's sweating, he's completely like, all right, I've run my game. I think that's enough for now.
Perfect, and you do exactly that. And it is an intense night that you give yourself, both mentally and physically, until it gets to the point that your body, and Lucia probably as well, can't take any more, and rest is required. And you find your chair, put your feet up, and crash out once more. And that's where we'll sort of leave you for the meantime, sleeping in the barracks. But as you guys are sort of waiting, jumping back in time a little bit, as you guys are waiting outside the throne room to see what the next update's going to be with the Creed of Creation, Mary, and the whole situation that is and loops around them, Emmerich sort of saddles up next to you, Azraelion. How are you today, my dear?
I feel a lot better than I look. How are you feeling?
Better. A lot better. And I do want to just take this moment to extend a special thank you to you. Last night I wasn't my best, and you really helped me come through again. So I do thank you for your help in my hour of need.
I am part of the Twilight Company. I am a protector of the throne, and you are part of that throne. It is my duty to protect and serve you.
Well, I do exceptionally appreciate it. And also, I did have some news earlier. Your new uniform is ready to pick up when you're ready.
Will they be open now?
I dare say if you catch him, and even so if the door is shut, say Emmerich sent, and you'll be allowed in. He knows your face. You're welcome inside anytime.
Thank you. I will make my way there at the moment. Make sure I get there before they close. And I do hope that you have a speedy recovery, Emmerich. But I must dash.
And like the winds, he runs as Raelion drifts off into the streets of the night. I say night, it's about 5 p.m. sort of time, so most of the shops in fairness are getting to that closing time and shutting, and you wander your way through, knowing obviously where the tailors were. M1 Everkind, his tailor shop. You know what we're looking for, you know where you're going, and you weave through the streets with just behind you, maybe a couple feet away at all time, pouncing from corner to corner. Adar follows close on your heel. While still having
actually,
time.
can I, just before I go, can I ask Lavender to keep an eye on her?
Yep.
She's got the bracelet that I made her. She will listen to any sort of commands that she's got, and I'll dash there. I don't need her seeing some sort of stray bird or something like that that's going to catch some sort of distraction and stop me.
Fantastic. Adar nuzzles up next to you, then Lavender, seeing you as you new playmate with the bracelet and that sort of stuff, and you and Brownie have a new playmate for the time being. And as you're disappearing off into the distance, Israelion, you do see, within a few minutes, of course, doesn't take you long whatsoever to get there, the tailors. You can see the door is shut, the lights do seem to be off, and it is as if it is closed, but again, it is just that time of the night. Excuse me. But you do rasp your knuckles across, and there's a pause before you hear the voice of the tailor bid you entry, shall we say. You open the door, and you can see that before you can see this dwarven individual standing off to the side. He's again very well groomed. He's wearing a lot of gold and bronze colored sort of attire tonight with hints of white speckled through it. Again, that tightly wound braided beard, the hair slicked back, portly self, but again that strong dwarven stature. But what catches your eye is not his fabulous clothes that are bright with the gold, literally and metaphorically, but the stand that's next to him is a mannequin, and it is adorned with what you've requested. If we wouldn't mind describing to the party, what is it that you've commissioned? What does it look like?
Give it a test. I find the photo that's in off the top of my head, but it is very regal, very noble, something that's completely different to what I'm wearing at the moment, but it will still allow me to blend within my favoured terrain. So it's got the browns, the greens, that sort of colour. It is much like a military style trench coat with a button down top that just ends here, which will still show the tribal tattoo marks he's got from his chest up to his throat. His trousers and his boots, and it'll be fitted that way where his scimitars will sit in the coat, but it's easy enough for him to move elegantly and get within battle. Don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I'll probably put photos that I've got in the general and the campaign talk.
Perfect.
So as an example.
And you see this mannequin sit before you with exactly how you described, and it does take your breath away that after you took your measurements and asked you what you wanted, he was able to almost, it feels, go into your mind and take exactly what you're looking for, plus some bits of flair, don't get me wrong still, but it was almost down to a T what you had in your head, if not better. As you come in and see this, the dwarven fellow, here it is. Please, would you like me to put it on you, sir? See how dashing and dapper you look?
I very much would. Would you mind if I have a bath and get a clean up here? If you don't, we as far as I'm aware, I have a trip to Brazenfort in the morning.
Very good. Well, we only give that to the special guests, and my gosh, are you a special one, so please, by all means, if you wouldn't mind waiting here, I shall draw you a hot bath so you can get clean and fit snugly into your new uniform.
Thank you.
The dwarven figure rushes upstairs, and you can hear the sound of the water getting drawn and the bath being filled as Emron does exactly as you've requested. You sort of stand there and you find yourselves maybe walking around the mannequin a couple of times, just looking it over, seeing like how you open it up, how it feels in the hand, that tough waterproof item, so when you're out in the rain it's not going to get damp and ruined immediately. It's fashionable, but more importantly practical for what you need. And after maybe about 5 minutes or so, the voice calls down that your bath is ready. And you make your way back upstairs, and you can upstairs for the first time. You can see there is a little steam room, and there's 3 bathtubs that are said they're big bronze bathtubs. They're not the biggest in the world, but you're not here to like have a bathhouse experience. It is just to get clean, basically, so you can get clothes on without getting them dirty. And he sits there, and you see there's basically some folded towels set at the foot of the bath for you, some soap and other cleaning products that you may need, including some nice smelling shampoos. And I shall leave you to it. And by all means, when you're ready, come down, towel or not, and we shall get you suited and booted.
Okay. So I'll get in the bath. I will just start to bathe myself off. As it starts to get that warm, steamy way, I'll like just try and relax if I can fit in.
It's your knees a little bit up, but you're not like, struggling to fit in it, no.
Yeah, not so much that I sit and relax. I'm there for a good 10, 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes. Just more so this is different to the life that I lived in Balo. Am I really one of these people? No. Am I a noble? This must be how they lived?
And there's that the age-old sort of saying of how the other half lived, and it does just cross your mind as you sort of sit there and let the steam, like the water itself, wash over your face and hair. The dirt, you're not exceptionally dirty though. There is also the dirt that comes off, and you just wash your skin, and you can feel that your rugged, tough, weathered skin is graced by these soft-smelling, soapy studs that wash over you, and there's a direct contrast in that of your much rougher upbringing versus what you imagine to be the more sheltered lifestyle that some of these nobles must live. And I don't know if it's an internal conflict going on in your head, but you do have that, am I one of them now sort of thought process going on. But eventually you do sort of snap your way out of it and finish washing, let your hair down, whatever it may be. And are you going down towel or?
Yeah, so I'll, as I'm getting ready to go out, I'll wash my hair, do the things, and as I'm having that thought of this is how the other half live, am I one of those? I will run my hands through my hair, and with that single braid that's coming down the left-hand side, I'll remember that was the last braid that my mother ever did in my hair before she was killed in the Green Gorge. And that's when I'll snap out of it, because I know that I'm not one of these people. That is who I am.
Yeah. You finish running your hand over that one single braid. The rest of your hair that is normally braided is now let down by this one single braid, the last thing that your mother touched in your body and did for you. And then you're you remember and you start to feel you're not one of them. As you sort of dry yourself, you run your hands over the scars that you've earned from monsters, from blades, from the road, from life. And yes, you are in their circle. You are in with them. You are friends with some of them. But you are not one of these nobles. You are Israelian of Balo. You are a monster hunter. And there's prey to be killed. You finish off drying, wrap a towel around your waist, and after a very deep bathing time, metaphorically speaking, in the soul, begin to make your way downstairs. You can see the dwarven figure has been sitting there waiting for you, sort of on one of these little stools. He's kind of got like obviously a a clipboard, and you can see that he's got probably measurements from the day that he's taken down, and he's getting ready to, get some orders in place. But he sees you, and immediately, whatever work he's doing is put aside, and he turns his attention back towards you. My boy, shall we get you looking dapper and fine?
Let us, yes.
Perfect. I'm going to get a bit handsy if that's okay. I won't, and nothing inappropriate, but I'm willing to touch you.
That is fine. You have my permission.
Fantastic. And he starts with the bottom, as you'd like him to do, so you're not standing there bollock out for too long. As he lets you put on your own underwear, and then he will help you into the trousers, making sure that, they do fit well. So there are a couple of times he needs to make minor adjustments on the fly sort of thing, actually being on your skin. And he's making these little adjustments. He puts you on. Excuse me. And he pulls trousers up, and he then goes and picks out the belt. And as you're sort of looking down his little dwarven figure, obviously, versus your quite tall stature, you can see he sort of comes to your left-hand side and starts feeding the belt through. And then he disappears behind. And then a red hand comes to your right-hand side and keeps feeding the belt through. And then another red hand comes from your left-hand side with long painted fingernails and tightens the belt for you. And then puts it through the buckle. And it's tight.
Yeah.
And you've seen these hands that are longer, out of proportion for the dwarf. Looking for me? A voice whispers in your ear.
Oh,
I think someone got mail today. You...
I don't believe we have met.
No. But I'm really glad we have now, thank you.
If you don't mind, may I ask you your name?
Of course, my name is Orlithia. And I think you want to kill me. You wouldn't do that to little me, would you? She still basically, you can feel this Orlithia now has basically pulled you in. So what was just feeding the belt through, she is now clung onto you. Her front is pressed into your back right now. So if you turn, she's going to move with you effectively.
You do know that you have your hands wrapped around my belt, which holds my blades.
And I think you know what I'm capable of as well. Let's not play coy.
And I think you know what I'm perfectly capable of.
And I just don't want you to do it. That's all I'm asking you to do. Pretty please?
Then why don't you make me an offer?
Oh, I love deals. Please, enlighten me.
Well, you have a particular set of skills. I also have a particular set of skills. Why don't we merge the two?
Oh, now I was not expecting that. The hands that are around your waist slacken a little bit before she doesn't take her hands off you, but more glides them over your midriff round to your hips. Then they leave with the prick of the fingernail just coming off your skin, not in a painful way, but you can feel the sharpness of her nails. And as you turn around, you can see for the first time Orlithia. Fire red skin with jet black hair. Jet black eyes, sorry. The center of her eyes, where the irises are actually little flames that burn bright. Her wings don't look leathery, but soft. She wears a reddish, deep purple dress as well, that she's not wearing, but it's more just lays over her skin loosely. It is very low cut and very revealing. She has chains that hang off of both her wrists, ending with open manacles. 2 horns that emerge from her forehead, curling back over behind, which frame her black hair. One little braid, one little just loose bit hangs just down, brushing against her cheek. And she just looks you up and down a little bit. A merger, then? I'm listening.
Why don't you help me get dressed? And then we can talk.
I normally do the other way, but in this chance I can do it in reverse.
Why don't you help me get dressed? I can go back to my companions, and then when I go to my bed, you can visit me there. And then we can talk more.
You're not going to trap little old me, are you?
Why would I do that? Someone as
Well,
beautiful
I was-
as you?
Oh, now who's picked up a trick or two? I will just remind you that you probably actually don't want to hurt me if you are thinking of trying to trap me.
And how can I trap you?
I don't know, you're a monster hunter, I dare say you've got your ways, but if you do, that little sword that Joel gave me, that your defenders of the throne need back at one point perhaps, will be gone forever. So let's not kill me. I just want to talk, and clearly so do you.
I want to get ready, and then I can do a lot more than talking.
Now, I'm interested. Stand up. Stand up straight, arms out. As she then begins to come behind you again, and with touches that last longer than they should to normally do this, puts clothes back on you again, starting with the shirt. She then slowly buttons you the shirt from the chest where it lays open down, hovering above the midriff before pulling away. She then puts the jacket on you and then brushes you down to make sure all the wrinkles and creases are off. Stunning as always. Lethal as
I know.
ever.
I know.
Can I make a request before we pick this conversation up later?
I will consider it. What is your request?
I couldn't help but notice there's only one of those contracts. Can I have it? The one for me?
Why would you like that? Do you think I'm
Well,
going
if-
to give this to my companions and they will come after you? Don't you trust me?
No, I don't. We've only just met, darling. And you picked this up for me.
How about this? How about I tear it in two? You keep one half and I keep one half.
Oh, a little keepsake? Sure.
It's part of the Harmony collection.
Harmony Collection's latest thing. This is the start of those like heart things where like you get two halves of the heart. This is the first one. This is the original. Deal. I'll take one. You take the other. Cherish it forever and always.
Wrap it. Give it up.
She takes her half and puts it under her, over her bosom, under the dress, almost nip slipping it in the process. But you feel it's quite
I'll get
deliberate.
the other half.
You do nip slip. Well, I guess I'll see you when everyone else is deep in slumber. You and I can stay up all night and chat.
Okay. Then you will do that. Please
See
don't
you
tell her she
soon.
turns back at she doesn't turn back at the dwarf, does she? That would ruin.
No.
That was my question. Where's the dwarf?
Yeah, she was a dwarf.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I looked it
She looks back at you, and she basically at that point she goes to walk towards the front door. She takes some like herself, but in a more mortal form. It looks like so she hides the horns. The skin goes to be a more caramel-colored skin tone, as she then hides her wings, obviously as well. Blows you a kiss, and then leaves through the front door.
Am I fully ready now?
You're fully dressed, yeah. You've got your scimitars on. You're fully dressed. You're ready to rock and roll.
I think you're fully ready. Yep.
He's rock hard.
No, I was thinking as in my gear, but I will take one last look at myself in the mirror, and then I will leave. I'll look for the dwarf, like the John Travolta, like Pulp Fiction meme, where he's like look
As
for
if-
somebody to like, lock up.
You go around, actually find the dwarf. The dwarf is in his bed, and he is sound asleep. But you get the feeling of like he's probably been put to sleep instead of just being asleep. If that makes sense. But he is there, and he's not harmed. He doesn't seem to be injured in any way, and very much alive.
Okay, I will go, and because I don't have I don't really want to look for the keys. Yeah, I'll look for the keys for the door and lock it.
Make an investigation check for me, please.
And post it for the letterbox. 17.
17. Doesn't take you too long, maybe about 5 minutes or so to find the keys in a little vault sort of, or a little safe sort of thing. But you do, as you sort of say, go out, lock the door after you, make sure it is locked, and sort of post the keys back through again to make sure he is safe for the night.
Yeah, and then Naruto on our bed.
Yep. Make your way back to the palace. The rest of you during this, obviously we've established with Falcoris you're training and planning and preparing for what's to come ahead. Elleril, Wash, and Lavender, is there anything you three would like to be up to at this point, or is it just waiting for the news of Miss Silversong?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm also training.
In what aspect?
I'm meeting the new recruits for the Court of the Thorn
Yep.
and teaching them a thing or two about staying quiet.
Very good. You sort of meet them in like the shady underside of the Rising Shire Palace, but every palace has got its corners and dark places that people don't tread. You meet them there. Tori is with you, and there's a few other new faces, most of which, if not all of them, bar Tori's, you don't know. But Valdis has confirmed one thing, that these people are not line material, he made very clear, but could be best served in your case. You can see that they are more dexterously built. They are people who want to serve their country, serve their crown, but maybe can't do it the way they thought. And you and Valdis have intercepted and altered their paths. But Valdis, loosely explaining what may be set before them should they accept, have agreed to do so. They are here to meet with you and begin their new training. And so you do through the night. Lavender, Wash, as you two waiting for Mary, or off to your own bed, Bice?
Lavender's just gonna be outside with animals.
Perfect, outside. Again, now they've got a dart to play with as well. Now, new pet, new friend. You guys are outside. Brownie and Adar are very quickly becoming very, very good friends, enjoying each other's company and playing around. Even when you guys are on the road, they do sort of play about now and again, but now there is like a designated playtime sort of thing. You can just, Lavender, you're basically just sitting back and just watching. As you can see that Adar and Brownie are basically trying to play like catch with each other sort of thing. So Adar's like running circles around Brownie, jumping off Brownie's back, and Adar's far too quick for Brownie, but now and again Adar will get too overconfident and make a mistake that Brownie basically, with a big bear paw but not too harsh, baps Adar off to the side sort of thing. And then play resumes, they just start roughhousing like two cubs playing. Even though Brownie is basically a fully grown adult bear at this point, and Adar is getting to that stage, you can just see two cubs playing effectively, and it just warms your heart a little bit to see this. And Wash, what are you up to whilst Lavender is doing this? Or are you with her?
Do you remember ages ago I asked somebody for a branded cloak or about like a shoulder cape? Did I get that at the time? Or
No, you haven't actually yet. No, you haven't had the chance. This is probably your first time back. Well, last night was, so that is ready though. That's a very good point. Sorry, that will be ready for yourself.
I will
Yeah,
go get it and brandish it publicly, I guess.
yeah. What does it look like? Obviously, no, it's a shoulder cape is fair, but what's its color? What does it envision on you?
It'll be. That's a good question. Not too lavish, essentially, but black with Bowden's sort of insignia in a sort of a brighter blue to contrast. And yeah, easy to clean of blood.
Key. Absolutely key.
Very key.
Perfect. Very good. You dress this all up and adorn it to your armor, and you probably not long afterwards, you put it on your shoulder, and probably the first thing you want to do at that point is go to your room and just see yourself in the mirror. And you are not vain. You are not proud of how you look, not in the negative sense, but compared to others, your armor is bashed. It is not polished that well. It is aged. It's shown the fights you've been through and then some. And you look at yourself in the mirror, and again, not in a vain way, but you look at your armor, the armor that you know and feel so comfortable and confident in as being part of you, and then you just look at this new item, a nice, clean, untorn, unweathered, whole shoulder cape that sits neatly on your shoulder nicely. You find yourself now and again just like moving a little corner away to get a wrinkle out or something. You sort of look over it left and right, take a few swings to make sure it's not going to interfere with your stances, and it's what you need it to be. It's what you want it to be. You do get that sense of it's new now. Give it a few fights, and we'll see how it looks.
He'll just think to himself, maybe I should get a new set of armor so it can grow weathered together, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, he will just go back and wait with Lavender. Not saying anything, just sitting down very quietly and just waiting.
Just enjoying watching Brownie and Adar have a bit of fun together. And you do that, and it is nice and relaxing. Until eventually we'll say, Azraelion, you do return back. You easily find Lavender, Brownie, and Adar playing in the gardens with Wash as well, obviously. You can collect your kitten. And
No.
Adar.
I've got a cat sitter for the night, it's fine.
Okay. Daddy's busy.
I bypass them. I don't even make eye contact. It's like, oh, I know she's busy. She's fine. She's looked after. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Man's going to bed.
Yeah.
Like waiting for Santa to come the night before.
And just like
You
that, in my young years, I'm up all night.
But unless there's anything anybody else wants to do before the night draws into a close, speak now, forever hold your peace.
Of course, we'll check in with Lucia if you don't mind.
Of course, yeah.
Because obviously Lucia went through the whole getting the cube and stuff. So just be like, how are you doing?
I didn't know I could ache, but I do.
Yeah, it's
That was awful.
Yep. It's quite physical for you.
Have you ever been dispelled, Falcoris? Your very essence just taken away.
I can't say I have, I'll be honest.
Don't.
I don't plan to either.
Good. It's awful. I hated it.
But
That really hurt. And especially as well. Fucking Borath got me as well last night.
I know. But I'm thankful that you still come back to me. So you also gave me an idea for arcane
stuck
ability
here.
wise.
Right.
Well, no offense to obviously your kind, your people that's coming over. It might be a good idea to be able to put them back where they belong. Banishment.
I can try. You know, I know where we're from. I might not be happy about it, but I can try.
I'm thinking if we can do that to this great reclaimer when it comes to time, it might give us a time that we need to talk to everybody else. If, obviously, situations arise. If we have
Yeah.
the chance.
I mean, if we can do it, then sure, I can certainly give it a try, but, you know. I don't know. We've never done it before.
It's a new thing, but I think we can do it. I believe in you. You've got some amount of power behind you.
I try.
You've kept me going for these... How many months now? Been a year? God.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But I don't appreciate this new me keep dying sort of thing that's been picked up last night.
You,
Really
you-
don't appreciate it.
I,
I've
I,
died 3 times now, technically speaking. I've died 3 fucking times.
see, I understand, I know. But this new ability to bring you...
You haven't died.
I did die. You were the one that dragged me out.
Fair. Fair, you've died once, yeah.
Yeah.
Still 2 more on you, bitch.
Well, here's the thing. You're useful.
Oh, I'm useful.
Yeah. You're really useful when you're out there. Extra pair of hands, extra weight attack. Plus, it's not fun to fly around and go through objects and.
Don't twist that against me.
No, listen. No, do you not think it's fun?
I mean, yes.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So, you can fly
Yeah,
around.
when you need me to fight something and die in your name is when I get to fly around and say wee
Well, you just let me know when you want out. I'll let you out.
all the time.
Okay. Well, there you go. Summoned.
Do you actually?
Yeah. Also, actually, no. I can't. Because I need to wait for a long rest.
I mean, you've had a long rest. You slept last. This
Oh
morning,
yeah, so that yeah, so yeah, I was summon her.
And she sort of like almost like stumbles in front of you, sort of thing, like having that semi-physical form, and sort of turns around to look at you. Like, don't do it out of spite.
You said
just
you
so
said
funny.
all the time, so there you go.
I didn't. Thank you.
You've got the night. As soon as I wake up, I think you're back in my head. I don't know how that works. Still not tried that.
Well, thanks.
No, thank you. I still.
What happens
Oh,
when I get my body back? In the question of, I don't want to go back there. Can I stay with you?
well, Lady Maya seems to have a plan for you, so I don't think she's going to send you back to the Shadowville. I think you'll be here, but of course, you're a member of the Twilight Company.
No, I don't want to be that.
But you are.
No, I don't want to be that.
But you are.
I just want to be your friend.
You are my friend.
I don't want a banner. I don't want to serve. I just.
Nah. What I mean is, you have every right to stay here as any of us. You've defended this place as much as anybody else.
Can I make a request that if you ever usher, I will cut your throat?
Sure.
Can I get a hug?
Sure. And I'll give her a hug. Or kind of go like
She-
halfway through her body, like
Yes, you do sort of.
Mhm.
There is a moment where you do realize that she has got some corporealness to her, but she's not all there. So you do hug, but you do find a resistance, not a physical form, but a resistance in her image. Let's call it. And you do feel as well. You don't feel the physical touch of someone hugging you, but you just feel an energy that wraps its arms around you, and it pulls you in tight at the waist and just holds you for a little minute in a little embrace. Before, after maybe 10 or so seconds, she pulls away. If you ever say that I did that, I will cut you.
I know you will. That's fine. Listen, I'm always here. And whatever's down the road, we'll challenge together. My goal is to get you back out. Now, no, Lady Maya's giving you that deal, and I'll be honest with you. I don't really want you to take it. But if it comes to the point where I can't find a way to get your body back, I think you should.
I know initially when I came back I said I didn't want to do it, but, you dangle a carrot, So it has been playing in my mind, but I'm trying not to think about it, because I'm sure we'll find a different way. That doesn't mean I have to serve her.
I'll do everything I can. We'll search. We'll go. After all this is done, defending the realms and all that kind of stuff, we'll search. We'll look up wizards. We'll find tomes. You can help me read them. All this kind of stuff. We'll try and find a way. We'll do everything we can. It'll take a good few years to try and do it if we have to.
I know we will. And we'll get there eventually, and I'm looking forward to it.
But
And thank you for having me around. For willingly or not,
I was going to
Thank you
say
for having me around.
it was not really my choice.
You talk to me.
You talked to me first.
I did actually, didn't I?
Yeah.
Made first contact.
That was
yeah.
quite confusing. It was quite scary, and it was
You
rather
You and me
embracive.
both. Yeah, you and me both. But I appreciate it all the same.
Right, you've got the night. Like I said, I don't know what happens when I fall asleep. You might actually disappear when I fall asleep. You might disappear when I wake up. Who knows?
How tired are you?
Extremely tired. We've been
You
battling all night.
bastard. All right. Well, I'll make the most of it then.
Right, have fun. Remember, you
See
can
you
fly and you can go through objects. Just don't go and snip on people. Just go and enjoy the
Why would I
flight.
do that?
Okay.
Not pervert.
I'm not saying a pervert. I just whatever. Right, go and enjoy yourself.
Right, bye.
And
And she walks away.
you can fly.
Don't wanna.
Falcors will just sit up in the corner with his chair and just drift off to sleep, essentially.
You do. It takes a little bit of time. You deliberately try and keep yourself awake that little bit longer just in case you being asleep does bring Lucia back. So I'll say you try and keep yourself awake a little bit longer just in case, but eventually sleep does take you and you don't know what happens to her. But the rest of you, one by one, find your respective beds. And you all, bar one, drift off to sleep. But there's one of you here in this party that goes to his room, sits on the bed and maybe twiddles his thumbs, reads a book, does something to pass the time. Israeli, what do you do whilst you wait?
Try to figure
Furiously.
something.
A dangerous question.
There's a Twitch answer. I will probably panic because I don't know what's in store here. All I know is there's a contract out for this thing's head. I haven't read up on them. I never encountered these beings before. Probably from general knowledge, light some candles. Probably for some general knowledge, I'll know that they do appear to men within their sleep. Common knowledge, but I think I'll get the room ready, make it look romantic, try and take her, try and play her at her own game.
Okay. Very interesting. So you light some candles, get some, probably run around to the palace, get some nice smelling incense or something similar, you know, and try and make the room feel and look more romantic. And it does come to getting late in the eve. The night's drawn on, the moon is up, although it's a cloudy night, so it is just breaking through the clouds now and again, sort of thing. Until finally, maybe finally is not the right word, a bit too strong, but your body does tense a little bit as there is a very soft knocking against your chamber doors.
I open up those doors as quickly as you possibly could. They're off the hinges.
Selling mummy as you do. But the door opens, and you can see the mortal version, we'll call her, of Alithia, the one that you saw leave the tailor's shop, standing in the door in front of you. I like what you done with the place.
I liked it better when you were red.
She smiles as she places her hand on your chest and pushes you into the room. With her other hand, shuts the door behind her. And then she puts the other hand on your chest, and then as you just watch, the visage of mortality melts away, and you can see the red bleed through till it's all the way. The fire in the eyes burns bright, and the wings unfurl behind. And you hear the door click as her tail reaches round and nudges the key over in the lock.
As she does that, I also cast alarm.
Are you alarmed?
Yeah. I am alarming that door.
The door is alarmed. And she
This
pushes you.
This,
Oops, sorry.
this is how I imagine when it's like when Ali reads her books.
The BookTok girl who's getting into that sort of shit, man. But you do obviously just watch this vision in front of you, and with the two hands on your chest, she pushes you back, and you don't realize the bed was so close. The back of your knees hit them, and you sort of just instinctively just fall onto the bed a little bit, catching yourself. She's not laying upon it, but sitting on it. And she then stands in front of you. Normally, I have to do so much work to get into like this. Why, Monster Hunter, are you so keen?
I don't know. There is just something about your aura, you will call it. You're interesting.
I'm interesting. Flatter me more. What is interesting about me?
You provide a very conflicting situation. There is a contract out for your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know this. I know this. Yet I can't seem to take my blade to your throat.
And is that just because you can't bring yourself to harm such a pretty face? Or because I hold more knowledge than you think I did?
I have found a lot more prettier than you. So don't. It is definitely not that.
Did your friends tell you about the sword they gave me?
My friends have never mentioned you. Which they haven't. I wasn't there when it was
No, you haven't, no.
Wash. It was Wash and who else? Was it just Wash?
Joel. Just Wash
Just
and
watch
Joel.
Joe.
Yeah,
And
Joe.
then-
Well, Joe wasn't there when I was here though, so yeah, it was just with Wash that had that conversation with the palace.
It's one of those things I think they told Falcoris, but I don't know if Lavender. I know Elril doesn't know.
No, Elrond knows because it got found out that we gave, like, Joel gave over the sword.
No, but that happened inside the Beacon's Blessing when Elril was standing outside.
Yeah, but then we talked about it afterwards.
Oh, did I? Okay, no,
Yeah.
mind then.
Did I not? Did Wash not also have a talk with her?
You had a follow-up conversation,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I relayed that. So you heard of her?
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my first interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
first
press
physical
like
interaction,
one-on-one, yeah.
The one-on-one and even hearing about her though, because I wasn't told about the incident you had with her in the palace. So my first would be the contract.
Now, what I've done is... Well, you weren't there for him. There was a metal man, Joel. Bit of an arsehole, but you know what? He was intriguing. And he gave me a very, very, very deliciously powerful artifact. Now, the deal was I hide it from a common enemy that we shared, the final say. And I've upheld that. But you might want it back at some point. Killing me
Why would
gets
we-
you nothing.
And why would we want it back?
Are you trying to kill a
Enlighten
man
me.
with a Zoom blade?
I only know of this Joel by word. I don't know of him as a person.
I would put him as an arsehole. But he was useful.
Much like our last
Spoken to Wash a couple of times. He's boring. But I think one day I can break him.
Why would you need to break Wash when you have me?
Now that is true, isn't it? I could be swayed to change tactics.
Why would you not? Now you like to come to men in the middle of the night and have your way. Why not come to me and have your way every night? Call it the thrill of the hunt. Maybe one night you don't know, I might pull my blade and try to kill you. Perhaps I won't.
And what do you get out of this? What's your endgame here?
I get some satisfaction.
Darling, is all you want just a good ride?
If all I wanted was a good ride, I can go to the whorehouses in any city I've been in. There is something about you.
You are a strange one. I was simply, once I found out there's a contract out for me, going to get you to hand it over, kill you if I had to, and be done. This is, even for me, unexpected. Not unwelcome, but unexpected.
Why don't we start off light? Why don't we just do what you normally do? I pretend to be sleeping, you turn up, you do what you want, and then you leave. And then
Starting
we
off light is not my normal stuff.
But would you rather have a blade to your throat?
Next question.
There's no PG.
It's not Twitch friendly.
Not Twitch friendly.
Well,
I
she
believe you.
seems confused. She sort of leans back from you a little bit, and this whole time she's been that hands on you, very that seductive sort of thing. It's almost like that has shifted. She sort of stands up a bit more, and it's just like there needs to be something more than this. I'm not. I don't think you're taking me for one, an idiot. If you want something, tell me.
Well, there was nothing that I wanted, but now that you've mentioned that powerful artifact that Joel has, I wouldn't mind taking it. As you know, the final say are on their way. Perhaps we could use it against them. I don't kill you.
Perhaps.
You give me the artifact, and both of us have our happy endings.
I won't give it to you straight away.
Of course. You have to learn to trust me.
Can I trust you?
I've spilled a lot of monster's blood. What makes you think I haven't? I wouldn't do it right away.
She stands a lot closer to you again, and the hands sort of do that thing where they glide over your shoulders. Then she interlocks her fingers behind your neck.
See,
Are you
she's doing that. Can
Yeah.
I grab the chains that are the manacles around her wrist and flip her round so she's the submissive one, she's the one on the bottom, and totally flip the situation?
Sure, you 100% do that as you pull her down and round and again pin her down to the bed, holding her by the manacles. She was going to say something, but her words are caught in a gasp as you do this swift motion. Are you calling me a monster? She says, regaining her words.
I think the horns say that you are.
You're
Look, it's
mean.
that bad I've made wash and lavender leave the room.
Then I'll get in the audiobook experience.
Yeah.
She says you're mean, but then with the fingers that are still interlocked behind your neck, pulls you in, and we'll let the imagination take hold.
Yeah, I'll fade to black. It's fine.
Hey, Hubble Bubble. Yep,
Yeah.
we made porn. Watch the fun. But yes, as the night fades in, you all get a long rest, apart from one, who probably gets a short rest. But
I'll need 4 hours, it's fine. What else?
You all wake up the next morning, and sticking with you, Ezrealin, for a little bit, you wake up and you're sore. There's no way of denying and hiding this fact. What you went through last night was an experience of the mind, body, and soul. And you wake up with scratches that weren't there before on your skin. And as you sort of just look around and roll over, you see that sleeping next to you, sound asleep, with the wings sort of hanging out the bed so not in the way of you, is Alithia. Her head is resting against the pillow. The blanket is pulled over her naked frame. And she is asleep.
What time in the morning would you say it roughly is?
I'd say you're probably woken about 7, 8 a.m., give or take.
I'll wake her up. And not to take any more of the time, but I'll wake her up and
No,
I'll just say,
yeah.
I think it's time that you turn back into your other form and come back tonight.
Fair enough. She, again, without taking too much, sort of gives you a little nod, and she then says if you're on the road and that sort of stuff, she'll obviously give you the piece. When it's safe for her to do so without being caught, she will find you. But she will say, before she goes, as she sort of melts into that human form again and begins to make her way towards the door, she turns back towards you. In all my years, and all my trickery, and all my conquerors of men and women, there's something different about you. And I don't know if you just caught me in a particular moment of weakness, or if you've actually done something. I want to learn to trust you. And if you're serious, I will give this a chance. I will not harm you in ways that you don't want to be harmed. I will not trick or betray you. If you can do the same for me.
Of course, you have my trust. At the end of the day, we're all going to get something that we want out of this. I can retrieve that blade and give it to my friends. You can live the rest of your life and do as you wish with other people, and in exchange, we both get what we want.
She seems almost for the first time ever where there may be a flirty quip, a coyish remark, just something. Probably for the first time, at least a long, long time for her, she is unable to answer to a comment made, and she can't get the last word in. She just looks at you, and as those eyes that were fire turn to be a blue to contrast, she opens the door, unlocks it first, opens the door, and she steps outside, and she goes through that whole thing where she looks over her shoulder one last time, but she doesn't. She sort of stops herself and instead just closes the door behind her and disappears down the halls. The rest of you wake up in the morning, having achieved a long rest. Not that we needed the stats, but there we go. And again, in typical D&D fashion, begin to reconvene and regather in the hall. What are you up to this morning? What were you discussing at breakfast time? If anything.
Falcor,
So you-
Oh, there you go.
Oh, it's good. So you wanted to head out to present for it, of course.
Yeah, if there's an invasion coming, it's probably going to hit Brazenfort first. And I want to talk to my family out there.
Does anyone else have anything they need to do as well?
No.
I mean,
Am I here at this point?
Yeah, I see you probably come a bit later in the conversation, but yeah, you are here at the dinner table, yep.
Yeah.
At the breakfast table.
How does Israelion enter the room? Is he like
Is he glowing?
John Wayne.
is he radiant? Is he like hobbling in? What do we see?
He doesn't sit down. Like
He sits down with a...
he's sitting in the chair. Like,
He
on the
hovers.
side. Like he's sitting on his hip, not his arse.
How does he sit? How does he enter the room? Sorry, just because she said that, how does he enter the room? Is he shy or...
I don't know. I'm trying to keep it under wraps, but at the same time, I'm like busting inside, ready to tell somebody.
Well, Israelion, you look great. Your is that an outfit? I see. You finally got that.
Yes, and I had a great 6 hours sleep rather than 4. I am well
Why did-
refreshed.
Why did you skip in here?
It's clearly
I
happy with
was-
his new outfit, right?
I was so eager to look at
This
myself
is
in the mirror.
really comfortable. Yeah.
I have received a contract. That is why I was skipping back. I do apologize, Lavender, for leaving a dive. But I had to meet someone in the palace regarding a contract. And I assume we're going to Brazenford next, yes?
Well, you don't have to come with me if you don't want to. I'm going out there
Where are you going?
for selfish reasons. I'm going to talk to my family. If this invasion is coming from the sea, then Brazenfort's probably the most likely place that they're going to hit first. So, yeah, I would like to talk to my family. There's Enzo. All right. Sorry, let Enzo go. There we go. Bye, Enzo.
Well,
Put my cat
I
down,
need,
fuckers.
I need to go and speak to a man named Heartland in Brazenford.
Oh, well. Everybody's welcome to
There's a
come along.
contract out for a certain individual. Perhaps you know her. Her name is Lilia?
Olivia.
Olivia. Got that eventually.
The name rings a bell. Can't quite place it.
She is a succubus.
Wait, hang on. This, and then I'll kind of look at Wash. That's succubus that you and Joel talked to way back. Wash?
Sorry, I was away somewhere else. What happened?
It's all right. It's all right. Backing it along, Phil. That was a succubus that you and Joel talked to, right? Olivia?
Yes.
All right. So your contract's for her?
I would give you, I would show you the full contract, but unfortunately I only have half.
You only...
Wash will just have
As
a
you pull
very
out the
sort of...
half.
Wash is gonna have a very disgusted. He's like, you didn't make a deal, did you?
I didn't do what?
Ah, that
He's
is
gonna
why.
grow more disgusted.
So it's not the new Dodds.
I wish you'd made a deal.
I haven't made a deal. I
I
got into
really
it-
wish you did, because the alternative is not good.
What do you mean?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why?
Why would you prefer I made a deal?
As opposed to the alternative? Yeah. Pretty
Well, I
much.
made a deal. I made a deal. I made a deal that
Fuck off.
she comes to me every night. I give her my longsword, and she gives me the one that Joel has.
Of course, will literally like laughing to his cereal.
You just can see Wash just do this.
Impressive.
Succubus for the first time. Not bad.
I mean, I am very conflicted. It is normally a monster that I will kill, but she has this demeanor, this, some would say, aura.
Yeah, that's the
It's-
point of a succubus. That's the point. That's the
What the-
entire thing.
Yeah,
The thing is, though, she didn't come to me in my sleep. She came to me during the day.
Yeah, no, that's what she's done to everyone. That's what she did to Joel. She even tried to do that to me, which, frankly, she's a moron for. Nearly got her
Such
head
a moron.
smashed in. What?
She said you're
Then-
boring, and I think she's in love with me.
Again, Falco's person. Well,
You sweet, innocent child.
I was really on see this aura you're talking about. You know they give off pheromones. They lure you in with their smell.
But no, she's in love with me.
all right. Well,
Do you have the sword?
Not yet. I will get this.
Great. Why did we need the sword back?
I assumed that you needed it because it was hidden away from the final say.
I mean,
yeah,
that was the initial thing that we gave it to her for. Well, Joel gave it to her for, but we found out that we didn't really need to do that. It's practically useless. It's just a normal rapier. So, yeah.
Then I guess I'm getting sex for free. I don't know.
I mean, who are we to judge true love? I support you in a relationship, Israelian.
Thank you, Mickey.
Okay, here's the
She's
thing.
just crashing out in the background.
She's actually doing backflips right now.
Succubus is, it basically eat your soul, not just anything else. They eat your soul, right?
Eat my ass.
You've just become a feed-in bag. Do you realize that? Like, she's coming to you every night and not sucking you fully so that she can just keep feeding on you. Shut up, DM. Look at you. Shut up. You're dirty.
I'll go on mute.
Shite. TOS. Come now. Don't be a dickhead. She's just
I
gonna
guess-
leave you alive just barely every night, then come back and feed.
I am okay with that.
I mean,
Wash is gonna go on a walk. He's just gonna.
we should. I mean, he's Australian's half elven.
The-
Charms won't work much against him.
Yeah,
I have advantage.
It's not possible. But
but all right. Here's the thing, Israel. Right, succubuses are bad. Yeah, evil. Generally take souls. Yeah, like, and you've just basically went, yeah, I'm free every night for that. You're alright with that?
I mean, my bed is lonely at night. I can't cuddle with a kitty every night.
There is plenty in the world out there that's not going to take your soul.
I know a
Has
great brothel and present for it.
I mean, don't have to just go for brothels. Plenty of women out there, if that's what you fancy. Plenty of men out there that work in hard jobs, do their lives.
Excuse me for chorus, and I don't mean to be mean, but you have a woman inside your head.
Practically a child.
And you have been sworn not to have sex with any other woman, as long as she's in there. Let me have my fun.
Wait, what's that got to do with trying to tell you about the dangers of a succubus?
Perhaps I can be her incubus. I don't know.
All right. You know what? Israelion, have fun. Do what you have to do.
As long as my swords are sharp and I have my wits about me in battle, we'll be fine.
See, when we have to come and rescue you and, fight off the succubus so your soul doesn't really go away, well, we'll remind you of this conversation. Yep.
I can't wait for the Azraelian Incubus Ascension arc.
There's one lone level noble who's hearing this and finally realizing he can have his dreams of being a playwright.
End of the campaign wrap up. We're gonna have Australian with like 6 little tiefling children.
Okay, it's time.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Chorus gets his farm. I get my 5-a-side football team. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. Well, I better go get Wash, and then let's get ready to get Brazen fought, I guess. And then I'll
Lavender's just gonna be eating breakfast out in the garden from now on, honestly.
as I'm walking by Australia, I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder and just be like, "But for your first time, succubus is not bad." And then I'll head off.
And as Falcoris
I missed that with all of the serotonins or whatever it was you said. The word that I'm not that bright. What did they give off?
The pheromones.
The pheromones. That was it. I am full of the pheromones. So I don't hear what I just said.
Full of pheromones. That's next session title. Full of pheromones. But as the party, Falcoris collects the party together, so i.e. Falcoris goes and grabs Wash from having a little tantrum in the corridor because a trusted ally sleeping with a
He's
succubus.
still yelling about it, by the way,
Yeah.
just to himself.
And Falcoris is like,
Alex Jones.
yeah, Falcoris is like, I know, Wash, I understand that. Yep. Yeah. Full on with you.
Fucked a succubus.
I know, it's
When-
fucking wild, but
When everyone leaves, it's just Falcor, Israelion and Ellerl at the table. He's like, Wash is just a bit jealous.
She was with it. She was with it.
I'd break my oath so fast if I heard that. Either that or Bowden would be like, hit him, do it, hit him, fucking hit him, hit him.
But as the party is reassembled and this new revelation revealed, but need to focus on the road ahead a little bit. You guys all begin to get your bags, get your breakfast down, you get your bags ready, armor donned, clothes, new and old, worn, and you begin to look off in the distance towards where your destination next lays, the city of Brazenfort, home of Falcoris, portside city, and potential next target for a sea-based invasion. And that is all in tonight's episode of The Shadows We Fear. Fuck, she loves me.
Was it just that? Is that she said you were boring and that she loves me? Broke me. God, the comedic timing
What
of
the
it.
fuck are you on about?
That was fucking good. Oh
That
my
needs to get
goodness.
clapped. That needs to get clapped.
Please clip that if someone hasn't already. We'll
Yeah.
go back and do it.
Oh,
But thank you so much for coming along to tonight's adventures. I found that a very, very fun one. To anyone who tuned in late, there's no context you missed, don't worry. But before we disappear into the ether, Andy, is there any announcements before we jump off and say our good nights and farewells?
just come and join us in the Discord. We post into the campaign talk, which is completely out of context, but if you're watching along, it will be in context. Obviously go over to our YouTube and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, please. If you're on YouTube, come over to Twitch and hit the follow button. But that's really about it. We've got the link tree in the chat and that you can come and join all of our other socials. And yeah, we should see you next Friday, I believe. I think we're good to go for next Friday, but obviously Discord will be able to tell you from there. So back to you.
Well, in that case, then we shall end this. End this fine episode here. So again, thank you so much to you guys in chat for coming along and seeing this adventure through. To my lovely players, as per usual, thank you for helping me tell the story. I am loving it with every twist and turn that comes, and we shall see you all next time. So in the meantime, until we see you again in the immersive realms, we hope you stay safe and enjoy